Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. September 18th, 2017.
The Kuhner Report, presented by Kelly Financial Services.
Kuhner confronts the chief, and she squirms. Okay, my friends, it's up on WRKO.com. I think it's going to go viral if it's not already going viral immediately. It's on our Facebook page as well. 617-266-6868 if you want to be part of the show. So here is exactly what took place. The chief spreading bull, Elizabeth Warren, did an interview for the veterans. They do a very good pre-taped show here on WRKO. And just as luck would have it, there I am. And so they mentioned me. They go, "Hey, the chief's in the studio, in your studio, Kuhner man." I go, "You're kidding." So there I am. I go to the booth. Guess who's there? The chief. So they wrap up the interview in about, what was it, Brittany? 2-3 minutes. Anyway, 2-3 minutes later, the interview is over. She then shakes everybody's hand, takes pictures with the vets, and then walks out of the studio into the hallway. Well, I'm right there. So I confront Elizabeth Warren, I confront the chief, and first I say, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" I want to take a picture with the first female president of the United States. So there's Brittany taking the picture of the chief and I. And then I turn around and I look at her straight in the eyes. And in fact, you know what? We've got it on tape. All right, we got it on tape. Well, I look at her straight in the eyes. And, well, you can hear the tape. Roll it, Brittany.
I want to ask you one quick question. You often say, and I agree with you, that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you've got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when in a sense you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make clear. I wasn't born in Cambridge.
Stop it right there, Brittany. I just want to set it up for you. When I asked her that question, her eyes almost popped right out of her skull. Her face starts to turn red. And as Brittany can testify, she starts like getting really nervous. Like she's twitching all over. Her hand, her finger starts pointing and wagging. She's like jerking back and forth. She's literally squirming because no one's ever called her out on her hypocrisy. And you can tell she has no clue how to address this. So listen to this. Woe is me. This is basically her response. Woe is me. Roll it, Brittany.
I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military. That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher. There was not even enough money for an application to college, much less to be able to pay for college. Long and twisted story, I got married early.
And
but I ended up, hold on, no, I ended up graduating, hold on. I ended up graduating,
Cambridge, do you know?
I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. And I became a special needs teacher. And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity. And I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
I know.
Those opportunities,
but you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
But you are a multimillionaire and you have a mansion in Cambridge, do you not? It's worth north of $2 million.
I had opportunities because America invested in kids like me, and that's the reason I'm in public office. It's so I can make sure that the next kid
but
and
you're
the
part
next
of the 1%,
what I
and you
am is
rail
I'm
against
part,
the 1%. You don't see the hypocrisy there?
It's not hypocrisy.
You're a multi-millionaire.
What this is about is whether you believe in opportunity or not. I believe in opportunity, and it's what I fight
You mean the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
She ran out. She was just literally running out. The guy that keeps interrupting, by the way, who is this guy? He looks like a Grizzly Adams Jr. or something. Like the guy with he's got this huge mega beard. No, it's just with the suit, the hair. I mean, he looked like, who was the lead singer? Jerry Garcia? Was it Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead? He looks like Jerry Garcia's long-lost kid, okay? But let that go. He keeps interrupting the whole time. We gotta go, Senator. We gotta go, Senator. Because he sees that she's squirming. He's like, like, she can't answer the question. So it's like, we gotta go, Senator. We gotta go, Senator. I swear, at one point, they just want to turn around and say, could you let the woman talk? Like, what are you so afraid of? Let her answer one tough question. Is it so hard for her to answer one tough question instead of softball after softball after softball? Now, she's a house flipper. She's going on about opportunity, $50. By the way, commuter college. She kept saying commuter college. I'm like, you mean community college? But anyway, commuter college, wagging the finger, jerking left and right. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, don't talk to me about your three brothers serving in the military. What does that have to do with you having a mansion in Cambridge? I wanted to be a special needs teacher, and I went to state law school, and this and that, and woe is me, and we had nothing, and we came from poverty, and on and on and on. You live in a mansion. It's worth north of $2 million. Some say as much as $3 million. In fact, you've instructed the local media that they're not even allowed to describe the mansion when she does interviews there, because you're trying to hide it from the public. You're worth about at least $15 million. So you're definitely part of the 1%. So who the hell are you phony, you fraud, you, to claim you're the champion of the 99% when you live like the 1%, you earn like the 1%, and you are in the socioeconomic class of the 1%? I'm not the one that's living I don't have millions of dollars in my bank account. I'm not the one who's all coiffed up like she was. I'm not the one with the same blazer all the time as you. I'm not the one who has a gorgeous mansion in downtown Cambridge. That's you. Now, how you made your money? You flipped homes. I mean, don't talk to me about state law school, commuter college, whatever. My brother's in the military. You were a house flipper, and that's how you made your money. That's a fact. And then you lied about your Native American heritage. You made it up completely. That's how you got into law school to teach. That's how you made your way through with affirmative action. And you lied saying you were 1/64th Cherokee. That's you, Chief. And you were getting paid $350,000 to teach one course. And then the moment you got tenure, we all know this, it's all a fact, you changed from becoming a Native American to becoming quote-unquote Caucasian. You're a grifter. You're a fraud. You're a con. So don't talk to me about, you go on about crony capitalism. You're the very embodiment of crony capitalism. And see, you can tell. This is why I'm telling you she can be defeated in next year's reelection. She's a horrible politician. I'm telling you, she's horrible. This was a question she didn't know how to answer. She was defensive. She was incredibly nervous. She was twitching. She was angry. She starts, she thinks by sticking her finger out at you as if that's somehow being bold and authoritative. Honestly, she looks like a little whiner. And you can tell she's not ready for tough questions. She crumbles under pressure. She can't handle the line of fire. And so if somebody runs a good, hard-hitting, tough campaign against her, it's going to beat her. And that's why I've been saying, I think Jeff Deal can give her a real run for her money. I think the Republicans next year can give her a real good run for her money because she's a horrible politician. Never mind that she can't answer the most basic questions. So, not only is she a phony 99%er, she's also a phony Indian. she's a phony progressive, and she's a phony senator. And the next question I was going to ask her, but then she ran away. She's literally running down the hall with, Grizzly Adams Jr. following her. The reason why she's running down the hall is because the second question would have been, Elizabeth Warren, senator, people are saying you're only using this state as a launching pad, as a springboard to run for the presidency in 2020. Will you sign a pledge that you will serve out your full 6-year term? That's the next question, because she can't sign it because she wants to run in 2020. She doesn't care about you and me. She's done nothing for this state. So you hit her again and again. Here's another one. You supported Hillary Clinton. She, like you, is the very embodiment of crony capitalism and the 1%. She used the Clinton Foundation as her own personal slush fund to the tune of over $250 million. It was all pay to play. So how can you, who claims to rail against the 1%, who says that the 1% are destroying America, yet what you did was you endorsed and supported the very candidate who embodies the 1%, who embodies corruption, who embodies crony capitalism, and who was bought and paid for by Wall Street? You phony, you fraud, you. There. Those 3 issues alone. She's finished. She's finished. She's a phony in every single way. And Jeff Deal, if you're listening, to the Republicans, if you're listening, you go on this line of attack, she's going to run from you the way she ran from me. 617-266-6868. Brittany, do me a favor. Play that exchange one more time.
I ask you one quick question. You often say, and I agree with you, that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when, in a sense, you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make it clear. I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All 3 of my brothers went into the military.
Yeah.
That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class.
Yeah.
For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher.
Yeah.
There was not even enough money for an application to college,
To eat.
much less
To
to be
eat.
able to pay for college.
You couldn't eat.
Long and twisted story, I got married early.
And
But
you
I
made
ended
millions
up,
of dollars, correct?
hold on, no, I ended up graduating, hold on. I
And
ended
you
up
live in a mansion in
graduating.
Cambridge, do you not?
I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester.
Yeah.
And I became a special needs teacher.
Sure.
And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity. And I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
Stop it right there. Stop it right there. Stop right. Now she loves America. Notice now, all of a sudden now, when she's caught being the hypocrite. Well, what about, I know, forget where you came from. I'm talking about where you live, Chief. You live in Cambridge. See, that fact alone, that she lives in a mansion, is one of the most closely guarded secrets in all of Massachusetts. So the fact that I just revealed that I spilled that, she was red like a tomato. You got to see the video. Don't take my word for it. And that finger, Brittany, I thought she was going to stick it through my throat. The way she was just pushing that finger out there, jabbing me. But now she wraps herself in the flag. Now, well, she's a great patriot now. Now she loves America. Keep rolling, Brittany.
That's how I had opportunity, and I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
Sure.
Those opportunities,
But you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
But you are a multimillionaire and you have a mansion in Cambridge, do you not? It's worth north of $2 million.
I had opportunities Because America invested in kids like me, and that's the reason I'm in public office. Is so I can make sure
No,
that
I
the
know,
next kid
but
and
you're
the
part of
next
the
kid-
1%,
What I
and you
am is
rail
I'm
against
part-
the 1%.
I
You
am
don't see the hypocrisy there?
It's not hypocrisy.
You're a
What this is-
multimillionaire.
What this is about is whether you believe in opportunity or not. I believe in opportunity, and it's what I find.
You mean the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
You mean the house flipping? Huh? You mean, oh boy, if you claim to be an Indian, you just claim it. You just claim it. Oh, the opportunities, they just flow. When you get into politics, you can really line your pockets. God bless America. Okay, the Kuhner Country poll question du jour, as the French would say, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services. It's very simple. Is Elizabeth Warren, a.k.a. Chief Spreading Bull, is she a hypocrite? If you believe the answer is yes, and I'm a yes all the way, text the letter A to 680-680. If you believe the answer is no, she wasn't born in Cambridge, and her daddy was a janitor, text the letter B to 680-680. You can vote online at WRKO.com. More with your calls to the chief, because I know she's listening. Chief, you didn't build that teepee, Chief.
You mean the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
1227 here on the great WRKO. So this is from 508. Jeff, so I looked it up. Since when is the University of Houston and Rutgers Law School, quote-unquote, commuter colleges? 617. Jeff, Al Capone started off poor, too. This is from 703. Jeff, I bet a mansion in Cambridge is an all-white neighborhood as well. Bingo. Gina in West Roxbury. Go ahead, Gina.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
You pointed it out, but I heard her say that, make a specific point, she wasn't born in Cambridge. So what, she's carving out a special section of the 1%, that it's okay to confiscate money from the elderly who have foreclosed on their homes, then inherit it, that's worse, to be a WASP. But a couple of fun facts on her, too. In her home, when she's interviewed, she films in one particular room that's very modestly appointed.
So we don't see the chandeliers and the grand staircase and everything.
It's very low-key, very humble. I also understand that she got an interest-free loan from Harvard to buy that place.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I vaguely recall. And the other thing, she practiced law without a license out of her university office for a time.
So it wasn't just $350K for one course, Gina.
No.
It looks like she got a lot more freebies and benefits.
Right, so she's violating the law, practicing law without a license, and she was violating university policy, making money on her office.
America was very good to her, Gina.
Extremely good to her.
Mary in New Hampshire, go ahead. It gave her a lot of opportunities to steal. Mary in New Hampshire, go ahead, Mary.
Hi, Jeff. I just want to expand on that because when I'm listening to your interview with her or speaking with her, you're talking about crony capitalism, the 1%. Her biggest windfall came when she was into politics, which is the absolute in windfalls because they get in there and they get all of these everythings that the rest of us. So these opportunities most certainly exploded, and look at any politician that's just sucking it out of the rest of us as far as opportunities go with once they get in there.
Oh, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Look, she's a crook. I mean, she's a crook. If nobody else will say it, I'm going to say it. The woman is a crook. She's an out-and-out crook. Now, I want to say all of this. I want to tell you this. Look, it's not partisanship. Believe me, I've covered a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats. Look, I said this to Brittany. If that was Ted Kennedy, even Barack Hussein Obama, say whatever you want about the dear leader. If I confronted him outside of doing an interview with the vets, and I nailed him with a fact that was deeply embarrassing, they wouldn't have just melted down on the spot and started, shooting their finger out and getting red in the face. You know what they would have said? They would have said something like, hey, Jeff, today it's about the vets. I don't want to deal with this sort of stuff. Okay? Today it's about celebrating the veterans. And just keep moving. In other words, you slipped the punch. She took it right on the chin. And then just kept taking it and taking it and taking it to the point that her PR guy is like, come on, Senator. Come on, Senator. We got to move, Senator. Come on, Senator. She's a horrible politician. Jeff Deal will eat her for lunch. 617-266-6868. Is Elizabeth Warren a big phony and hypocrite? And what's your reaction to my confrontation with her? Your calls next.
WRKO, the voice of Boston.
1237 here on the great WRKO. Okay, the Kuhner man confronts the chief. What's your reaction? 617-266-6868. All right, so I take a picture with her, and then I ask her the obvious question, but she's not able to answer it. Or at least she tries to answer it, but really is just flailing and flailing. She's getting more upset, redder in the face. The eyes are going to pop out of the skull. Her body starts literally twitching. And then the finger, she starts wagging the finger at me. Just roll a little bit of it there, Brittany. Go.
Now, I asked you one quick question. You often say, and I agree with you, that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when in a sense you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make clear. I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor.
My daddy.
My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military. That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher. There was not even enough money for an application to college, much less to be able to pay for college. Long and twisted story, I got married early.
And
But
you
I
made
ended
millions
up,
of dollars, correct?
hold on, no, I ended up graduating, hold on. I ended up
live in a mansion in
graduating.
Cambridge, do you not?
I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. And I became a special needs teacher. And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity. And I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
I know.
Those opportunities,
But you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
But you are a multimillionaire and you have a mansion in Cambridge, do you not? It's north of $2 million.
I had opportunities because America invested in kids like me, and that's the reason I'm in public office. Is so I can make sure that the next kid
but
and
you're
the
part
next
of the 1%,
What I
and
am
you
is
rail
I'm
against
part-
the 1%.
I
You
am-
don't see the hypocrisy there?
It's not hypocrisy.
You're a multimillionaire.
What this is about is whether you believe in opportunity or not. I believe in opportunity, and it's what I fight
You
for.
mean the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
She just ran off. She literally just ran off. I mean, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you, if she was just maybe, I'd say 20 years younger, I could see her winning the gold. 100-meter dash. She's fast. Let me tell you, she's fast. 25, maybe 30 years younger. And I could see her winning the 100-meter sprint. That woman can move. 617-266-6868. Okay, lines are blazing. Mike in Newton. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
Jeff, only you could pull that off because you know why? You're as honest as the day's long, and really you got courage. I mean, you got enough enemies up here. But getting back to that faith, if to use a boxing term, stop the fight. Stop the fight. I mean, you cut her every which way but loose. And Jeff, it's a disgrace, really. You exposed her. And now they're having a Hall of Fame dinner for all the news agencies in Boston and all the anchors. Not one of them would have the balls to ask the questions you did. And one other thing, Jeff, if I may, about Jeff Deal. This is a real good guy. This guy is a worker. He saved each and every one of us the agony of taxes on gas. He put himself out there. He worked day and night. I met the guy. The guy, believe me, he's a wonderful guy. The only thing I had a little problem with him when he was mentioning the Lion of the Senate, Ted Kennedy. I said, hey, Jim, you got to back off of that guy.
No, he's salt of the earth. I know. I mean, I've met him. I know him, and I got to tell you, he's a very decent, hardworking man who understands the real needs of taxpayers and families in Massachusetts. And I'll tell you right now, he's aggressive, he's tough, he's going to go after her. If he goes on this line of attack, he's got her. Because most people in Massachusetts, they don't know that she's worth north of $15 million. They don't know that she has a massive mansion in downtown Cambridge. See, they don't know her lavish lifestyle. And so once you start exposing that, I mean, she's a hypocrite and a phony through and through. That's the line of attack. I would keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it. But that's just me. Dan in Woburn. Go ahead, Dan. Hello, Dan. Did we lose Dan? Okay, let's go to Eddie in Quincy. Go ahead, Eddie.
Oh, Jeff, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall. You know, Tippy, you described it perfectly. She starts shaking, it starts pointing, and then her eyes come out like a couple of old shiny doorknobs. And, you know, she started because she put her name in that book of minority lawyers. And then she got the job at Penn. She was teaching at some small Texas college. She's the only one in the Harvard faculty that doesn't have an Ivy League degree, you know, in the law school. So she got it because she put her name in the book, and that's what Jeff Deal's got to get his hands on, that book that shows her on, I don't know, whatever page. Liz Warren, I don't know, whatever page. Liz Warren, minority. And I take it to the debate, and when it come up, I just open that page and just point it out to everybody.
Eddie, look, and thank you for that call. The reason, look, what she did was this, okay, and this is well documented. She got a job at the University of Pennsylvania, but they wouldn't hire her on the merits. They hired her because she claimed she was a Native American, as a, quote, minority, affirmative action. Harvard, then, they needed to get more minorities, and especially, like, okay, they got a few blacks, a few Latinos, etc., but they go like, there's no Indians. There's no Native Americans. So literally they go to Warren, hey, what did you say? Something about your great-great-great-great-grandmother? Yeah. Okay, so what are you, like 164? Yeah, you're 164th Cherokee. Put it down. You're an Indian, for God's sakes. Put it down. And that's how she got the job. She's a complete con. And then, this is the kicker. Once she got the job and became a tenured professor, basically you can't fire her, okay? Then, ba-boom, she goes from being a minority right back to being a Caucasian. I'm not even talking about all the house flipping and just that alone tells you everything you need to know about her. 617-266-6868. This is from 603. Jeff, she wasn't born in Cambridge. She was born in a wigwam where her tribe was from, out in the Great Plains. This is from 617. Jeff, Warren is a fraud. She had a college scholarship and decided to leave after 2 years to marry her high school boyfriend. Her then husband worked for IBM on NASA projects. Hardly the ragged edge of the working class. Well, notice how many times she kept saying, Daddy, Daddy, my daddy. Like, what is she, like, from the Waltons? You know, my daddy. My daddy. We had nothing growing up. My daddy. My daddy. 978, Jeff, quote, to disturb a conservative, tell him a lie. To disturb a liberal, tell them the truth. I cut her to the quick. Because you can tell I hit a raw nerve. Because deep down, she knows she's a hypocrite. And I exposed it. 617, Jeff, She has used that poor me line many times. Pathetic. I agree. Pathetic. Mike in Tingsboro. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Jeff, you just hit on a little bit, but remember a week or so ago when Donald Trump was catching all that flack because he said that Ivanka refers to him as daddy?
Yes.
And everyone was putting that spin on it, that it was very strange, and I think even the show before you was hitting on it earlier in the morning, and now here she is, Elizabeth Warren, a grown woman, referring to her father as daddy. I mean...
Well, daddy, my daddy.
I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another.
Smokey and the Bandit?
Yes, the first one, yes.
Yes, with Jackie Gleason, and the kid keeps calling him my daddy. My daddy.
Thank you for that call. Give me some of that daddy.
I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military.
Yeah.
That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher.
So I'm just curious, why weren't you a public school teacher? That's another thing. Notice, and special needs. Remember she threw in special needs? I want to be not just a public school teacher. No, hey, special needs. All she should have said was the severely special needs. I'm talking like the super special needs. I'm talking like blind, deaf, mute, blind, deaf, can't walk, just completely super special needs. I'm like, well, okay, what's stopping you, Chief? You took the money. You're not teaching special needs kids. You're not a public school teacher out there in Oklahoma. You flipped homes, and then you lied at Harvard, and then you lined your pockets, and you continue to line your pockets, and you're a long way now from being a special needs teacher, Chief. Kathy in Falmouth. Go ahead, Kathy.
Hi. Yeah, just weighing in on the conversation. I've heard already about some of her things, claiming, of course, to be an Indian when she's not, and moving up the ladder with all her deception, getting to where she is. And I can't understand for the life of me why nobody has questioned any of this and gotten her out of office just based on her fraudulent statements, in general as to what she did, and she lied to get through school and everything else. And not one time, I just can't understand how this woman is a senator, and now she wants to be the president. I mean, how is it people don't even question these types of things with what she has claimed, and she's so full of fraud, it's disgusting.
It really is. Kathy, look, you nailed it. Now, let's see what happens. I've just caught her red-handed. This is incredibly embarrassing for the senator. We got it up on WRKO.com. I hope all of you can go. You can see it for yourself. Download it, email it, put it on Facebook, tweet it out, send it as many people as you can. I will bet you dollars to donuts. Okay, no, forget that. I'll bet you the best freaking steak at the Hanover Street Chop House in Manchester, New Hampshire. The Globe won't touch it. The Herald won't touch it. Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 10, maybe Fox 25. Maybe Fox 25. WGBH, I can run down the whole line. NPR, they won't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. You know why? Because their job is to cover up for her. They're in the tank for the chief. Bob in Salem. Go ahead, Bob.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I don't know if you recall, but when Elizabeth Warren ran for senator, she was being interviewed, and Deval Patrick was right beside her. When someone asked her a question, she had the deer in the headlights, and she said to the interviewer, I'll defer that to the governor. So the governor answered the question for her, and his answer was, who cares? How do you like that one?
I remember that, Bob. I distinctly remember that. And I remember saying, even to the audience then, thank you for that call, Bob. I said, is it me, or these are the same feminists who rail against patriarchy and sexism and misogyny? And yet here's a female Senate candidate on a very key issue deferring to a man, saying, could you answer this for me? Pathetic. Okay, my friends, we're going to have a lot more coming up in the next hour, I promise. But let me just put a bow on this. So, just to quickly reiterate what happened. It's already going, viral in a big way. You can see it for yourself up on WRKO.com. So the Kuhner man actually had a confrontation with the Chief Spreading Bull. So here's what happened. She was in our studios doing a pre-taped interview with the veterans. And they do a very good show, by the way. And so people said, hey, Elizabeth Warren's here. I go, you're kidding. Oh, they go, really? Elizabeth Warren's here. I'm like, okay. So I come down into the booth, and guess what? Really, they weren't kidding. There's the Chief. So she finishes her interview. It was about maybe 2-3 minutes. She finishes. Very polite. I got to say, she was nice. She shook hands with everybody, took some pictures. She then walks out. There I am. So I go, hey, Senator Warren, nice to see you. And so I shake her hand, and I say, hey, can I have a picture? So there's actually a picture of us, and I'm kind of like, I'm holding her by the shoulders. And I even say to her, hey, and I point to the camera, she's going to be the first female president of the United States. And she's like, oh, watch it now, watch it now. And then I turned around and confronted her with this. Roll it.
Question. You often say, and I agree with you, that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when in a sense you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make clear. I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military. That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher. There was not even enough money for an application to college, much less to be able to pay for college. Long and twisted story, I got married early.
But I ended up,
hold on. No, I ended up graduating. Hold on. I ended up graduating. I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester, and I became a special needs teacher. And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity, and I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
I know.
Those opportunities,
but you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
Chief, who's your daddy now?
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 1 o'clock.